What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Say Less podcast.
Let's go.
Let's go. We've got a special guest on today. But before we get into that, let's roll the intro. Let's go.
We'll ring the bells.
Girl, it's a holiday.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's how you make me feel.
Hey,
and you drive
hey,
me
Hey.
crazy. Girl, take your time. You're
Who's with
blowing
these?
my mind. 'Cause each time you whine, you're
I picked a little TikTok from the also after the show. Let's go.
Sexual explosion. Let me get my Trojan. Girl, won't you please?
What's up, everybody? What's up to all our viewers that are gonna that are watching? We've got a special guest on today. The man himself, the one and only from Washington, D.C.
Let's go.
We've got Danny Tusitala on board, brother.
Let's go.
Welcome,
Man, it's
brother.
good to have you here, bro. It's
Nah,
a
thanks for
pleasure.
having
It's
me,
an
bro.
honor having you, bro. Man,
I appreciate you guys, bro.
I'm sick of
One
watching
and
you on
only, bro.
TikTok now. We get to have you in person, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. I'll have to retire from TikTok soon. So.
Nah. For the boys.
You're good, bro. For the lows.
For the lows,
Hey,
bro. For the lows.
It's good to have you, bro. Good to have you on, bro. Thank you for coming.
Nah.
Appreciate it.
Man, bro. Man.
How's it been, bro? What have you been up to, mate? What have you been up to?
Nah, I got back from the US a couple months ago and then went straight down to Hawke's Bay and then just finished the season with them with the NPC and fell short. We lost in the semi-final to a really good Tasman side. So I just got back home last Wednesday. So yeah, it was a bit funny, driving up. Wasn't too sure if I'll make it through the borders, but yeah, it was pretty casual. Just get to the border and then they just ask you, "Oh, why are you coming to Auckland?" You say, "Oh, I live here," and then they're like, "Why'd you leave Auckland for work?" And then they're just like, "Oh, yeah, sweet. Have a good day." So,
Pretty much anybody can go down there, eh? I'll just say I'll pay for All Blacks.
That's pretty much what it felt like. It was just show your ID and then reason of why you're coming to Auckland and the reason why you live. So so I've just been from when I'm just got back, I've just been chilling with the family, just been going to the park, Archibald Park with the kids and just trying to do the time because I've been away for the last 2.5 months away from the family. So
nice, bro.
Finally get some downtime and get to spend some time with the kids and fams. So
How's the bro Lalange? Lalange Visania.
Lolange.
Yeah, bro. Lays are still the same, bro. Still the same, bro.
Is he still skipping the Andy runs?
Oh, bro. He's skipping a lot of things at the moment. So.
Does he still have his barbershop, bro? His barbershop singing group, bro? Because him and Ramex, they're going handies back at school, bro.
Bro. Funny, bro. We caught up with Rebecca and Christchurch when we played Canterbury earlier this season. So that was good to catch up with those old boys. So that's mean, bro.
Max, man.
Me, man. I heard that you mentioned Archibald Park, bro. So you still in the block or?
Yeah, so my mom and my siblings are still living in Counselling and I'm just in Henderson at the moment, just out near Refka, just with my wife's family. So I go back and forth. So it's always nice to just be back in the holiday. Yeah, bro, you know the guy.
Bro, I remember because me and this guy Atu, we worked at Counselling Sweden. Your little brother was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
We were having rugby training one time. He looked at me and goes, "Wait, do you know who my brother is?" I was like, "Gee, you better relax."
Shout out.
But that guy just plays Fortnite every day. Bro.
Yeah, bro, he's the total opposite from you, bro.
Oh, bro, I saw him. I went and saw them the other day, and then I walked into the room, and he's got like a gaming setup and everything, and I was like. So, bro, I asked him, "You any good at this or what?" If not, then stop wasting mum's money. So he told me he was good. He told me he can earn money when he turns 30.
Yeah, bro. Good on him. Good fella, bro. Good fella. Yeah, that guy, bro.
Man.
Got a good head on himself. But yeah, man. But yeah, bro. Like, I think myself and Stefan, I definitely know that some viewers out there will want to know the inside of like your childhood and where you were brought up and what school you went to and how it was like. Obviously, being Samoan as well. how did that kind of play in play in your kind of journey in life? But yeah, if you could touch based on that, bro, that's all good.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just close this door. But yeah, I'm pretty like you guys. Obviously, you guys know, I was born and raised in Counselling, born and bred out west. So proud to be a West. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, come from a family of, I think, my mom, and then obviously my old man who passed away a couple of years ago, and my siblings, my two sisters, and then like you guys said, my little brother. And then we just, just like every ordinary family in Counselling or poly family, we just, at the time it was just my mom working, and I think my dad at the time was the one who drop us off to school and things like that. But when I got old enough, I could walk to school, so it was good. So a lot of my friends now, a lot of my childhood friends are my mates that I grew up with from Counselling. So I thought you've probably seen a lot of my boys around, and that's been our circle from when we were little kids. And so I think I always consider myself quite lucky that I still have those friends around, and they've definitely been through the trenches with me, and been through all the hard times, and but like where do I start, bro? I think it just rugby and all that just comes naturally when you're in Counselling, because it's surrounded by you. Like I swear, if it was soccer, if everyone in Counselling was playing soccer, we'd all be playing soccer.
Facts, bro.
So it was like, so at the time, because I didn't really have anyone to look up to in terms of like rugby wise. Like there wasn't really anyone in my family who, I guess, made rugby sort of a job or some sort of like career out of it. So it was kind of whatever I saw in Counselling and who I saw make it out of Counselling was what I had. So it was a tough one. I will say it wasn't easy. Looking up to a lot of players back then that probably didn't quite fulfill their potential coming out of Counselling. So there was so many awesome athletes, like so many rugby players that I think, man, could have been All Blacks out of Counselling. I think if Counselling had a system where they could help us like become professionals and how to cope being in that sort of professional environment, I think there'd be a lot more Counselling boys in that environment. But you see nowadays, bro, you see a lot of Counselling kids cracking it, because they've got sort of like the template. There's like people who've gone before them to. So I think in my days it was kind of like we didn't have anyone to follow, or because man, not like growing up in Counselling, you wanted to be a Crip or a Blood or
facts,
right? And it was like, like, and I just think, man, like, man, we're silly little kids, bro. Like walk around the like Archibald Road, Brains Park, like just doing nothing, bumming around. Like I used to live in my house is like literally 5 minutes down from the school, but it took me like hours to get home. School finished at like 3:20. My parents would be like, oh, what time does school finish? I'd be like, I was playing touch or at rugby training. Like you live 5 minutes down the road, and it's like takes like 3 hours to get home. Like you get home and it's dark.
100%.
This used to live and breathe walking home, like in Counselling, bro. That was like anyone that caught up us, you were like, nah. Bro, you gotta walk home, bro.
Hard.
Bro, you're walking in your school uniform. Back then, it was like they used to have the red and blue shirts. So the reds were for the senior.
Shout out to the best uniform back then too, bro.
Most unique you could tell, man.
Yeah, bro. Now everyone looks the same.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, man. I used to look, growing up in Counselling, bro, definitely has like molded me to become. Who I am today. It's because we, growing up, we didn't have much. I wouldn't say we didn't have anything, because our parents did their best to give us everything we needed and everything we wanted. So and it's not until you leave, I guess, Counselling, and you leave the little bubble that we have in the hood, it's like, man, our parents really struggled to like keep our family afloat, keep everything, keep us going to school, and I probably definitely wasn't like the best student in school. I was kind of.
I think that's all of us, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like my goal to go to school when I was going to Counselling Boys, bro, my goal was to make people laugh and just be like the entertainer of the classroom. And it used to like shadow my academics because, bro, I like didn't care about my academics. So I left school kind of nothing, like no NCA level 1, 2, or 3. But it wasn't until I left school I was like, bro, that does not matter to me. Like, because like, you know, bro. When you go through life, you meet people like, oh, flip, man, I didn't pass that, but you're still here. You're digging holes with me, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
No, there's so many things like you can, so many things from casting that, you know, that we probably didn't learn growing up, but you didn't realize we were learning until you leave casting. You're like, look, I learned this as a kid, like certain things you do.
Yeah. That's good. I love the point that you said about, you know, NCA, because a lot of us, you know, the island boys and the island kids growing up, you know, we can't really stay in that system. You know what I mean? Like that system of just, you know, it's almost like if you don't pass NCA level 1, 2, or 3, you know, it's important. But if you don't pass it, you're a failure. You're marked as a failure. And especially for an island kid, and you walk around as a failure, you've already lost, you know, any dreams that you've had. So you saying that, you know, it's actually quite, you know, for some of the young kids that are coming out of Kelston, for them it's quite encouraging. You know, it's still important to get your level 1, level 2, or 3, but it doesn't define you as a student or as a person or as an island kid coming out of Kelston or coming out of anywhere, actually. So that's a good point, also.
100%. I think it's I think it was just for like, you know, because I've always been asked like, you know, what I was like at school, but it's just more like I never applied myself. You know, I think us young poly boys, once we apply ourselves into something we want to do or want to achieve, you know, we can actually do it. We find that we achieve these goals. But when it comes to academics, I don't know if it's just like a system or is it. You know, I fully support those who like go hard in school because I encourage my little siblings to do school first. Exactly what our parents told us when I was in school. Like do school first before you do anything else. But at the time, it was kind of like, oh, nah. And then they always said, oh, you know, when you're older, you'll regret. And I'm not saying that I regret it, but I'm saying, man, if I applied myself, I would have given myself a lot. Maybe an easier road into where I'm at now. Definitely. I think if you do well in the education and educational side of things, it does make your road a lot easier. Whereas if you don't, you're going to eventually get to where you want to be, but you got to go around. You got to go through all the hard work, hardships, and all that.
I think Sefa also kind of nailed it on the head. Oh, and yourself too, Danny. Like, it's also like knowing that sometimes school is not made for that specific person, you know, and like, you know, you've spoken on it. I can speak for myself as well. Like, you know, I wasn't that bright at school, but like, I got to my end goal at the end of the day, and like that was just through hard work and probably through another route. But I mean, like, I understood that going to uni and whatnot wasn't for me, and but yeah, man, you guys totally hit it on the spot, eh? So.
What a journey. Who's your favorite teacher at Kelston at the time?
They're Lyles. Watch it, bro. You better watch out. You better watch out, bro.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I think a lot of teachers did not like me. Like, I think a lot of teachers were sick of me, man. Like, I think I was in 9L. I was in 9L, bro. 9E. 9E, bro. I was in 9E. Then halfway through, I think I got kicked out of 9E, went down to 9L. Bro, then legit, like, 9L just had enough, bro. Like, it had nothing to do with schoolwork, but they just dropped me down to 9S. So I was 9S. But, like, at the time, I was like, oh, don't care. Like, I'm sweet, bro.
I'm just here to chill with the boys.
Like, bro. I was in 9S with all my mates, like, all the boys, bro. We're sitting around, like, clowning around. Like, you know what it's like, bro. Like, like I lived and breathed mocking. Like, when people wanted to mock, bro, I was like,
you're in there. That's your circle.
Especially when you're the smallest guy in the class, you're like, that's the only thing you can rely on. Is your comebacks, bro. How fast can you come back with your comebacks, bro? Because that was me, bro. Like, so I went from 9E, 9L, 9S, bro, and then you think that I'd get a wake up call. I went back in 10S, then I went straight back to 10L. So I hung around the L and the S for my junior years. Then I seriously don't remember. Year 11, 12, I don't know. I don't think I was even coming to school. Like, I'd turn up every now and then, but man, you know, when you get to that stage, bro, you're just like, yeah, nah, I'm all good. I live down the road. I could just come to school when I want. Come do the roll check, tutor group, bang, go home.
Done.
Go home, first period, second period. Come back lunchtime.
Nah,
it's stupid, bro. That's bro. You know what, Mr. Simmons? I have a lot of respect for that guy, bro.
Oh, bro. Facts.
Because he used to always, like, if we were in school, he'd come to my house, knock on the door, and try and find all of us and drag us to school.
Because he was running first 15 that time, me.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
You know, but at the time, you don't appreciate him until you leave school and you're like, "Fuck, man, this guy actually went out of his way to try and keep us in school, try and keep us in line." He knew the stuff that we were doing. He knew that we were drinking and doing all of that during school. And then, but, you know, for the man to be like, still, I guess, have us in his rugby team. Not only that, but like try and drag us to school. You know, there was a few of us that I think that we're pretty lucky that we had teachers like himself. Henare and Athens. So,
Papa Koro,
yeah, bro.
Papa Koro.
Yeah, bro. Talamahina, I think.
Talamahina, Talamahina was one.
Nice.
Yeah, bro. His name's like, there's some good teachers. Cunningham. You know, there's some good, and it's always the sporty teachers. I always see them. You know, I had
Mr. Cooley, bro.
Yeah, I had Mr. Cooley for the sprinter. I used to do a lot of sprint sessions with them in the morning.
So you're still sprinting these days, eh?
Nah, bro. You know what's funny, bro? What's funny, man, was they used to say, "Oh man, Mr. Cooley was like one of the fastest at custom boys back in the day." And so I went to the sprint trainings, and I was like, "Bro, this is boring. Like this is game." And then, you know, now with rugby, the drills that we were learning with Mr. Cooley are the drills we do now. But I take back what I said.
Mr. Cooley's the man.
Mr. Cooley's the man, bro. He knew what he was talking about.
Bro.
But when you're a kid, bro, like everything these teachers teach you and like talk to you about, man, you're just like oblivious to it. You're like, it's not gonna bother me. I'm just. So I honestly thought I was gonna leave school and just play PS3 or PS2 with the boys.
PS2,
every
bro.
day. PS2 with the boys every day. Play 08. I thought that was going to be my life. And then obviously like drink and go out with the boys. But then when we left school, oh man, it changed. Like a lot of things changed. Boys started getting rugby contracts and things like that.
Nice.
And the only rugby contract I had was in Archibald where I was just kicking. So,
shout out to all the teachers that actually care for, you know, for their students. Shout out to all you guys and even 100%. All the teachers that are working hard during this pandemic and stuff like that. In the lockdown, you guys are doing an amazing job. Let's go.
Yeah, bro. And just touching on school, bro, like bro, I remember, mate, you ended up in the farm, mate. So bro, tell us about that, mate. What happened, bro? Just heard that you're riding horses and cows out these ways, mate.
Yeah, bro. Far. So obviously I like probably my year 12 year was probably one of my worst years in school. Just like not turning up, just like kind of like not being around. And I was kind of I was in the first team, but I was kind of not. I was kind of like, because I probably like, I think at the top of my head, I think I only played like 3 games for first team.
What year was that? What year was it?
So 07, I played 1 game.
Yeah.
Off the bench against Tangaroa. Oh no, St. Paul's. Bro. I was standing on that bench like, I don't want to jump on, bro. I was sick in it, bro. Bro, and that was the year that we lost to St. Paul's, like first time in like 20-something years. And I was like standing on the sideline at the end of the try line. I was like looking at Simmons and he was like, warm up. I was like, bro, I do not want to play.
All good.
Yeah, bro, I'm not getting bumped off.
No, thank you.
I was looking at the sideline and all their crowd were like, you know, this hardcore Simmons just standing there like looking like they're going to step you out. I'm like, bro, I don't want to play, man. I'm ready to go home. So I played my first, I played 1 game in 07. So it was my year 11 year.
Yeah.
So I thought, when I played that 1 game, I thought, yeah, sweet, bro. I'm going to play first team next year. I'm going to be the man. Because, bro, everyone knows when you're casted first team is like,
bro,
it's the pinnacle of school. Like, bro,
Facts.
it's more bigger than being the head prefect.
100%.
If you're walking around with a first team blazer, you're the man.
You're the man.
Like, you're the man.
You're like, you're a prefect.
We were just talking with Sefa and like we were talking about like rugby and like when you go Counselling, you can pretty much make any team, whether it's like C team, D team, it's all good.
There's a team.
But if you don't make any team, then also Avondale, cuz. If you don't make A, B, C, D, or E, Rutherford, bro.
Rutherford or White Tech, bro.
You got to get out of there ASAP. I mean, bro.
So then I went, obviously, then 08 came around and I thought, yeah, sweet. Because I trained really hard in the summer. Thought, yeah, man, I'm gonna crack this for Sadina and like be one of the main starters. And then but that wasn't the case. I think I just made the first Sadine. Because at the time I wasn't too sure what position I was. I was playing on the wing, fullback, 10.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think I sort of played halfback, but I was more out wide. And then just that year, I wasn't playing for Sadine much. I was doing a lot of second 15. And we won it that year. My second 15 year, we won it. We had guys like James Gavin.
Sorry, bro. Do you agree that like in second 15 is one of the most fun teams you'll ever be in?
Oh, 100%.
Like, bro, 100%,
bro.
Straight up, we won it.
We won it,
honestly.
But it's awful. Just laugh out loud, bro.
So
that's a Lowe's team, bro.
Bro, So I was mainly part of the core group in the second 15 in my year 12 year. But that it was one of those things that it had to humble me because I was just like, flip, man, I just went on the tour to South Africa with Kelston in the 07.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then obviously coming back in 08, it was my year 12 year. So I was like, yeah, sweet. This is gonna be my year.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out as well as I wanted it to. And then I kind of just like started falling off the radar and just kind of cruising. But like you know what it's like, bro, as a young poly boy, and like when all your boys are playing first team, but you're not quite like playing, you're just kind of like. So then my way of dealing with it was trying to be the funny guy and just be like, just go out, drink, and like just try and be cool. Like I was like trying to hide that, like I was hurt that I wasn't really playing, and things like that. It was tough, bro. Like when you see all your best mates like playing first team, and you're just like, bah. And then here you are. You're already in a full sweat by 8:30 in the morning on Saturday, getting ready for your 9:15 kickoff. That's when people ask me, I go, bro, did you play for Sadine? I go, I played a few games, but I was playing at 9:15. So it's like, fuck, bro.
That's a mission, eh? That's a mission to get up, like ice.
Hey, I'll never forget when like you have to play like teams like LaSalle and like you're playing at 9:15, so you have to drive all the way to like man. At 7:30 or 7, right? Well, that's why, I think eventually I just told my parents, nah, stop coming to the games because, bro, they just done 2 years of under 14s and 15s coming at 9:15 early morning games, hoping to come watch me play first team, but then here I am playing, bro, straight up, already muddy shorts, socks, everything at 9 o'clock.
The worst is run on. The worst is when you go with your dad to LaSalle. If you lose, that's going to be the longest drive home.
Yeah, bro. Straight up. That's why you go. That's why after the game, you just walk up to your dad and you go, I'm going to go sleep at, I'm going to go home with them. And they're like, you go.
Facts,
I'll see you later.
And then I'll see you Monday.
Facts, bro. There's 9:15s for a mission, man. Like,
oh man,
and like especially when you're wanting to play on the number one field, when you're playing at home, mate. You know it's either number one or number two. But,
or Counselling intermediate. Bro, I've had a few games there, bro. That's when I stood there and I was questioning, bro. Am I even good at rugby or what? Am I good enough to play rugby?
100%,
bro. And then, so then all of that thingy, like that is kind of what made my year 12 year kind of going down the drain. And then, bro, I kind of got like, I don't think many people know, like a lot of people were like, hey, why'd you leave Wesley? Like, you're a Kelston, born and bred. But, bro, it was the only school that could take me in, bro. Like, I got kicked out of Kelston.
Yeah.
So, I got kicked out of Kelston. Like, Yeah, bro. So, I got asked to leave Kelston by Rutherford. I remember it too. Like, on market day, we were doing something, bro, and he called me out. And I think there's a lot of boys that know the story. It was like, he called out to me across the basketball court, and I was just like, nah, ignoring him. And then he just yelled out to me, and he was like, bro, then I was just like, everyone was like singing that, nah.
You know what? I remember that. Because I was a junior at that time. I was a junior at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on market day. So then
I remember that.
bro, you know what? You tell everyone whoever see this on custom, bro, I started it, bro.
Yo,
Everyone, bro, when you get sent out of class, bro, I was drumming in the back, singing it, bro.
I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not surprised.
That's
Bro,
right.
shout out to the 9S, bro.
If you're in 9S right now in Kelston, you can do anything.
And I think just
you can achieve anything.
Just for the viewers, hey, like I know Danny and Sifa and myself are explaining like 9L, 9S. So I feel like the system at Counselling is the best, man. Like, so it's even discouraging as well because you can tell when you're in the lowest class. So just to be clear to everybody else out there, the classes at Counselling was spelt Counselling. So it was A1, A2, A3. Those are the top.
Don't worry about the A1s, bro.
Yeah.
So A1s were the scholars, and then you go from K to N. And obviously K is after A3, and then N is the lowest class. So if you're wondering, like, why are we explaining 9L, 9S? So that's how it goes. So 9, we go 9K, 9E, 9L, 9S, 9.
Nah, but when it comes to like fight, yo.
T-O-N. But yeah, like what Sefa said, when it comes to the fights, it's always N and T and S that's always jumping in for the hawkers, front line.
Or sharing
food.
Of sharing, bro. Yo. Money $2 for your bus, bro. We got you.
one steak and cheese between 5 boys.
Yo, 100%.
It can work.
Yo,
that's
so then, yeah, bro. So like, obviously, bro, but it was funny. Like he told me to leave, and it wasn't until I left the school, bro, because he asked for my shirt, he asked for my uniform. I was like, nah,
no way.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm not giving you my shirt. But then, like, me thinking I was cool, walking out the gate because he followed me at the gate to make sure I left the school grounds. Mr. Rutherford, bro.
Yeah.
I'll never forget you, bro. Yeah, bro. So he walked me out, bro, and for some reason, I thought it looked cool in my head, bro. But when I tried to do it, it wasn't cool. So I took off my shirt, the fence.
Yeah.
Stabbed the shirt through the fence. So yeah, bro, here, have your shirt. Have your shirt, man. And then, bro, honestly, I look like a rude dude, bro. But I thought it was cool in my head. I was walking from the office, obviously the office to the back gate. I mean. And I was like thinking, flip, bro, I'm going to rip my shirt off because he wants my shirt. So I took my shirt off and, I stabbed it on the top of the fence. But it was kind of like, oh, bro, because I'm short. So I'm kind of like tippy-toeing and then yank it down, bro. I was like, oh. So then I ended up, but I didn't walk straight home, bro. I walked straight to Junior Ngalawafi's house,
That was on the road, eh? Ngalawafi. Family.
So I stabbed the shirt and then I walked. And I was walking to his house and I was thinking, bro, did I just get kicked out of school or what? Then I got there, bro, and it gave me probably 4 days. 4 days had passed, and then I went home because I was basically living at Junior.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I remember I just like, bro, how am I going to tell my parents I just got kicked out of Counselling? And then I remember I came up with an idea that I told them that I wanted to change schools. So then I went to my mom. I was like, I hinted, oh man, I want to change schools, eh? And then she was like, what for? You just stay at Counselling. And I was like, nah, because I want something different. I want to play rugby somewhere else. And because I said that, they were like, okay. So then we looked into a few schools, eh? And then obviously I couldn't, because when you get kicked out of Counselling, it's on your record, like it's on your. So then lucky, like at the time, one of my good mates, Charles Pietau, we're doing a few things together over the summer and like playing tag and whatnot. And then bro, he asked me, do you want to come to Wesley? And I was like, bro, if Wesley can accept me in, then I'll just come to Wesley. And I had no clue of where Wesley was. All I knew was they were a good rugby school. So then man, like as soon as I did my enrollment form, bro, the next morning I got accepted. So I was like, So but my parents the whole time just thought like,
what are up to now, bro? Do they know that you got kicked out?
My mom knows. Yeah, my mom knows. It took a while, but bro, like my dad wasn't happy at the time. Bro. He definitely wasn't happy that I wanted to change schools and everything was a bit out of the way, like out of Pukekohe. And so like, yeah, man, I held that life for a while, like,
Damn.
I just wanted to change schools, bro. I didn't get kicked out. So then, yeah, that's how I ended up at Wesley, bro. Just like through, like, obviously the bad decisions I made at Kelston, and then, but I think going to Wesley for me was a good change because, like, all I ever knew and all I ever grew up knowing was Kelston.
Yeah,
like everything, like, bro, I literally did not know there was anything outside of Kelston. I thought bread and butter, everything is like in Kelston, and you can see why, like, you know, looking from the outside in, you know, that's why a lot of Kelston boys are like, they're like this, bro. They're like that, bro. Everywhere they go, they're like
everywhere,
Like I like, you know, it's like for me, I don't really rep the school as much, but it's more just the area. Like I'm more for the area, man. Like, cause I fully respect people that, you know, rip the school till they die, man. Like a lot of my friends are still like that, but my thing is like, bro, I'm more for the hood, I'm more for Kelston, man.
100%.
And the area.
100%.
Because I grew up, I went to Kelston Primary, Intermediate, Kelston Boys. And to go to a new school in my last year was kind of tough. But I had to, like,
Did you board there, bro?
The first term, me and Charles were like driving from Angrian. And then,
true.
Yeah, jeez. Bro. Well, it wasn't my car, man. It was that bro's car, so we were safe. But man, those are some long drives to Pukekohe. So.
Facts, man.
But then, when the season eventually started, then we ended up boarding, and we had guys like, bro, we had some crazy rugby players there, like Malakai Fekitoa when he first moved from Tonga. There was Nepo Lalala. Carl Tunukuafe.
She guys got a good side.
There's a few, bro. Yeah, bro. There's a few. Clem Fisihai. Fish. Back in the day. Yeah, Fish, bro. He was the man.
Yeah.
And obviously Charles. So it was a different change for me. Like, a lot of guys I've never met because all my friends are just from Kelston and all from when we grew up through primary and intermediate. So it was weird, just seeing different sort of more the South Aucklanders. They're a lot different to the Westies. Probably not as chill, They're not chill buzz, bro. Shout out to all my South Auckland brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Wesley boys.
Yeah.
Shout out to the farm. I just heard Sifa touch on. I just heard Sifa touch on. Bring it on earlier, bro. And I'll get Sifa to kind of get into that. But yeah, man. Sifa.
Yeah, that's before we get into that. You know, that is really encouraging for you to share that side of your story because not many people knew about the whole, you know, how you went from Kelston to Wesley. But we do appreciate you sharing that story, and you know, it is really encouraging, especially for our kids now that are in Kelston, knowing that there is a life outside of Kelston, you know, and it's true, man, because you know we see kids nowadays, you know, Kelly Block, and that's awesome, but just know that after high school, there is a life that you got to live after Kelston.
You can't walk into a building asking for a job going like this.
Yeah, going like this.
Hey, what's on your CV? You be like this, bro.
No, but that's 100%. Yeah. And saying that, man, bro, one of my highlights was coming because I did Kelston Intermediate 06 and 07. I saw Bring It On, bro. I don't know what was that. 07. I saw this guy climb up this pole, bro.
Bamboo, wait, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Right up. I was like, yo, the man. Bro, was dancing always like? Did you always, you know, was that always something that you enjoyed?
Yeah, bro. Like, it's probably something that I was quite passionate about. Before I got into like the whole footy and rugby.
Yeah.
Cause bro, I was like rugby, like I wasn't that good at rugby. I was still to this day, I'm like all right, but dancing, bro, like if I had a choice, bro, I'd pick dancing, man. But obviously there's no money in it.
Yeah,
bro.
Out of rugby and dance, you choose dance.
I'd say more entertainment now.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. But
that business,
yeah, bro, like it was good. Like, I don't know how it started. I think I went and watched the Bring It On practice, like they were practicing for the competition, and then I just happened to be watching and kind of was like learning the moves, like visually just watching them, and then they needed someone to fill in, and I was like, then it went from rugby shorts to baggy cargo shorts to begging my mum to buy Timberlands and all that sort of stuff. So.
Facts. Because I was listening to your live with Hadley, and was it true that you're the next member of Sweet and Sour? Bro, when I heard that, I was like, dang, imagine that,
bro. he asked me in the earlier days, bro. I remember I went to one of the very first practices in Fender's garage.
Yeah.
And it was like, bro, like there was literally no space. There was like nothing. There was like a lawnmower there, like a bench press, all the stuff inside the garage.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like, I was sitting there like, but it's tough, bro. Like when you got boys like mine, bro, they like give it to you about dancing, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But
that's the thing about Counselling.
They're money. Yeah, bro. I do the same for other boys too. Yeah, bro. But all the boys, bro, used to give it to me. So yeah, you would have seen in their life. That's why I kind of turned it down. But then I almost went back to it, like because rugby wasn't really working out at the time, and I didn't even know if I wanted to play rugby at the time. So then when I went to the dancing sort of thing, it was kind of flip, man. And I remember they were getting ready for their worlds. Because Headley and them had a massive sort of impact and why I chose to dance for a bit. And then, bro. When you think about it now, wearing all that crump tees and everything, bro, like I used to walk around thinking my crump name was Shadow. And
shout out to Sweet and Sour and the likes of them and Specifics as well. I think they kind of
my boys, man.
Yeah, I think those two groups, one of the both of them kind of opened up like Kelston as well. That it wasn't just rugby in Kelston. Like there's other areas that we can venture on, like dancing. Bro, Sweet and Sour, they were the first group to win worlds, from NZ.
Yeah.
Sweet and Sour.
And I used to remember they used to when they used to practice, like Danny was just saying like Fender's garage, but because I was still in primary, bro, and they used to come and practice outside our St. Leonard's library, bro, and using the library windows as their like reflection, bro. It was unreal, bro. And then when they practiced their flips and stuff, they were on the grass, bro. So it was good, man. So shout out to them, man. Seeing that side of grinding.
They've been through it all, bro. That Sweet and Sour crew and all, even the Bring It On crews from Kelston is just kind of
hard.
Like, bro, the long nights, bro, and the camps you have, like, bro, we used to have camps, bro. What the hell? We used to have camps, bro, and then camps, and then here we are, like, everyone's dyeing our hair. I've been dyeing my hair from like. I'm surprised my hair hasn't fallen out, bro. I've been dying since like...
Facts, bro. Your hair's like
facts, bro. If there was one guy in this world, bro, it's Danny, bro. That's Danny.
Bro, like, I was like, man, I've seen some old photos of me from Kelston and like, blonde, like, at the time, orange mullet. Like,
straighter nails.
When it was like that, when you had to go flick your hair like that.
When you're like always walking around, bro.
And the tax,
you got some
100%.
Yeah, again, man. Honestly, shout out to Sweet and Sour and Specifics. Rest in peace, Metui Finau.
My boy, man.
Yeah, because you're close to the Specifics boys as well, eh?
Yeah, bro. Bro, I used to like tag along to their gigs, and then there's a few gigs, bro, where I'd like go and like sing with them, eh?
You did everything, eh?
Docs, bro, your CV must be like 50 pages by now, Docs.
Bro, you wanna sing it, bro? I got you, bro.
I'll do the communication.
Yeah, bro. It was I remember we went to some place in Otahu, bro, and then I just happened to be standing there, and then Double was like, "Hey, just come and sing the melody," and I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet."
Got you.
I was legit. I was like, yo. And at the time, I think what's her name, Sela Mahi.
Yeah.
She was singing at the time with us, so bro, I've done it with some greats, bro.
You've done
it all.
Pretty good for yourself, bro.
Not bad for 9 Esos.
Been around the world, bro. So 9 Esos is alright.
Good on you, bro. But yeah, shout out to those guys. But yeah, Danny, like we want to touch up on like what'd you get up to after school, bro? Like after leaving Wesley, obviously doing a year at Wesley, what'd you get up to?
Shucks, I got up to a lot of things, like probably the main thing was like when I left school was kind of just, well, I actually didn't know what I was up to. Kind of that year out of school, like where all the boys are kind of gone off and doing their own thing. A lot of boys went to uni, and at the time I was kind of like, nah, that's not for me. I just finished 5 years of
prison,
hell in school and prison. So I don't know why I'd go and like put myself in more debt and more trouble to go to school. So I went to Dubai. Spent a bit of time in Dubai and just learning it, like, and that was kind of an eye opener where, you know, there was a lot more to the world than just Counselling.
Thanks.
And yeah,
so I playing footy, bro, over there.
It was kind of like a gap year. Yeah, I did play a bit of rugby. I was playing rugby with like guys like old enough to be my dad or my uncle. So,
true.
Bro,
running amok there, brother.
Bro, running amok, but like knowing that they're just old men, bro. They just they don't train, bro. They just play, turn up on the weekend and play. So then I came back home and then just kind of went from I started washing cars. I washed cars for a bit. South Auckland Motors, bro. Shout out to South Auckland Motors.
Let's go,
man. They gave
Shout out to them.
Gave me, I think that was pretty much my first job, washing cars for like, I think it was like $13-14, and I was getting like $460 a week. Bro, I thought that was heaps.
Bro, that was heaps.
Oh yeah, bro. That's heaps back then, bro. Yo,
bro, $80 to the parents. Bro, money gone by Friday.
Friday morning, 12 o'clock's already done.
Migering by Sunday.
No, at the time it was yum
yums.
It was yum yums, bro. So yeah, I washed cars for a good year. It was tough, bro. Service cars. You get some angry people, man. You miss one part of their window, bring their car back, rewash the whole car. You're like,
dang.
But I think I was like 19, 18 at the time, and then then I came back. Like I stopped working there, and then I went and worked for my uncle, and he does like gas. Like, bro, this is legit. When I found out I couldn't dig for nothing, I couldn't use a shovel. Bro, it was like breaking the confidence. It broke me, bro. So then, because I was like to my mom, I was like, man, I want to earn some good money. Like, well, it's a good job, and she goes, go work for your uncle. So then at the time, he runs a subzone company where they do gas and like they install fiber and internet, and then man, my first day on the job, bro, like fully kitted out, like hivers, safety boots, safety glasses, helmet, bro. And then my uncle just goes, bro, I need you to dig a trench, like from that end of the drive all the way to the other end. And I looked like a good 30 meters, and I was like, oh yeah, all good.
Should be
then
sweet.
He goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, sweet.
You'll be right.
You need to dig the trench, the width of your shovel, and up to your knee. And I was like, what the hell, bro? I legit probably like that first day, that broke me, bro. Like I almost quit. Like I told him, I went home and I told bro, because the whole day I only got probably like 10 meters, but I needed to dig like 40 meters. But 10 meters of like, it was like uneven, like, because I just was like hissing from the start. Then when I started getting tired, it just got like shallow and shallow. I was like, oh, bro, that was hard, bro. Those are those moments you stand there at Smoko, because it was one of those jobs, like you go to Smoko, it's like almost 5 minutes to get to the truck. Then by the time you sit down and grab your lunch, they're like 5 more minutes, then we're back on. I'm like, bro, like I was like, what the hell? I don't want to do this, bro. But then that was when I was like, see, this is my fault. This is my fault. And then so I worked there for like, bro, I lasted 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I was like, nah, I can't dig any more trenches, bro. Bro, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do the concrete cutter and everything. Like, this was the first time I ever used like heavy tools, and I was like, bro, I was like, oh, I'm trash, bro. So then I quit that job, and then I found a job as a laborer. Yeah, so I went from one hard job to another one, thinking like, because at the time I was like, yeah, I want to be a builder. I'll be a builder. So like, oh yeah, you can do your building apprenticeship, bro. I spent that whole first year sweeping the floors and like demoing, and I did no building. There was like no building. I didn't even learn how to measure the freaking walls or anything. I just got told, Harry, demo that wall. So we like, I don't know if you guys been to Sky City, the casino where there's that escalator down the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle of the gaming room.
Yeah.
Like on the big area, right? That's me. We dug that all way.
That's me.
I sweep that floor, bro. I sweep that floor, bro. Bro, I cut that concrete up, bro. Nah.
Let's go.
So yeah, we demoed that. We like reframed the whole thing, and I worked there for a bit, and then I went downtown to. There's like a seafood restaurant down at that big clock, and like just on the viaduct, there's a big that big brown clock. Yeah, so we demoed. Like I worked there for like half the year, building the restaurant, bro. It's tough, man.
That's you too, brother. That's you too.
That's you, bro.
That's me, bro.
That's you.
Shout out to all those people that go eat at that seafood place, bro.
That's you, brother.
I empty that tip every day, bro. Man, I used to, bro, at those jobs, man. If they wanted something carried outside, bro, I'd find the longest way to walk it outside.
Yo, bro.
If there's an elevator, I'll take the stairs. Like, I'm like, bro. But it was tough, eh? Like I think working in those environments is tough, especially because I think at Counselling we don't learn that when you go into the workforce, you kind of have to think on your own. You're always so used to being told what to do, and I think there's a few times where, like in those jobs, I'd stand around waiting for someone to tell me what to do because I was they'll say, "Oh, bro, just clean out the back room," and then and that's all they give me. So then I'll clean out the back room. And then I'll stand there, and then I remember one Tongan dude come up to me and goes, "Dog, why are you standing there?" And I was like, "Oh, because I finished my job." And it's like, "Dog, it's not even smiku." And I go, "Oh, but what do I do?" And he goes, "Don't just stand there. Go find something else to do." And I was like, oh yeah. So then I just walked around, and I was like flustered. I was flustered. I remember walking around the whole the site, like, what do I do? So I started picking up like the timber and all that, and I was just like flustered. It's like, then I went back the next day to the Tongan dude. I go, "Oh, sorry, docs, I didn't know it." And he goes, "Nah, dog, when you work, you have to work, and if anyone tells you what to do, that's when you know you're not doing anything. So you just got to make sure that you find something to do. Don't wait for someone to tell you." And it was good. Like it was a little life lesson that I learned from him. Just a random Tongan labourer who works hard, bro. But that was definitely one of the massive learnings in that like sort of workspace. Whereas like, you can't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You got to actually think on your
get out there and do it.
Think on your own and actually go out there and like be proactive rather than reactive. So it's kind of like, bro. But those are the things I didn't learn in school. Like, all those little things, like the little subtleties of like asking. So like, "Oh, hey, is there anything else you need me to do?" Whereas, I don't know, I'm probably speaking for myself, but I'm like, if I do a job, if I get told to do one, I'll do it. And then that's it. I won't ask, is there anything else you need? Or, because we are like, we're kind of, growing up in a poly home, you're kind of told what to do. So when you do it, you wait for the next, like, sort of order or demand.
Yeah.
So then when you go into that workforce, you're like, you wait for someone to tell you to do. You're not going to go and be bots and going like, start doing. Because I didn't want to go and start doing stuff and be like, "Hey, what the hell
are you doing?"
Like, so it was a good learning. And then so I went from there, did that for a couple of years, and then I went into like shrink wrap. And I honestly went through a stage where I thought shrink wrapping was going to be I was going to own my own shrink wrap company. Bro. Because all it was, bro, climbing, scaffolding, pulling white sheet over, welding it together, covering the scaffold, so that builders and roofers can do their thing during the while it rains and things like that. So I worked for Shrinkmaster for a bit through the boys, Philip Tungamala and Nalu. Those are my boys, man. They're definitely one of the boys that, like, when I had nothing, bro, gave me a job, helped me provide for my family, because at the time that's when me and my wife were starting to have our firstborn. So then at that time, I was like, kind of like not doing much with my life, kind of jumping from job to job, bro. I probably worked like 100 jobs, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Your CV is thick by now.
Wow.
Bro. And then like
handyman.
Handyman never used the tools in his life. But so I was shrink wrapping, and then bro, I lost my job, bro, like before Christmas. Bro, we were working some silly hours, man. Like I'd wake up at 4 o'clock, finish at like 9 at night. Like my family wouldn't see me, bro, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it was a team of us boys who were all like, we were able to still play a bit of rugby, club rugby and that. But lost my job before Christmas. And then kind of was like, that was the turning point, like, bro. Like, I thought this was going to be my bread and butter, but guess that's not the case. So then it was kind of, had to figure out what to do next. So then, I tried to go, I went and found a job as a delivery man. So I was doing deliveries, like mail. I was doing mail, bro. I did mail for like a few months here, bro. And I was doing it in the rural roads, like out at P highways. Bro, so imagine dropping off mail and you're reversing and you don't know whether the car's going to come around and smash you at the back of your... That's, bro, that is tough, bro. Respect to all the mailmen and all the mail women. Bro, that's a tough job, bro, organizing all of that and just sorting people's mails, bro. Because I'm sure, like, when I got lazy, I just threw the mail like, oh, you're close enough, bro. You can drop it off to your neighbor. Yeah, bro. I was like, look at the names. Like, I'm driving along, bro, and it's on my lap, and I'm like, oh, his house is just up the road, so he can just head this, man. So, yeah, it was, like, I worked as a mailman, and then I went from that, and then well, then I ended up finding a job in Wellington. So at the time, I kind of was like, yeah, bro, like 2015. Yeah. I kind of like, 2015 was kind of like, flip, man, like, I left school in 2009, 2010, and I had like probably like 4 or 5 years of just job hopping, like jumping from job to job, like telling everyone, oh, I'm going to be a builder. I'm going to do this and that, but then it didn't work out. And then 2015, I ended up going down to Wellington. And then, I found a job doing, bro, civil job, like laboring, bro. Yeah. It was tough, bro, like doing the steel, like wrapping the steel on the foundation of the concrete. Bro, and I remember doing it. And I remember my first day on the job was the day that Jerry Collins passed away.
That's true.
So, bro, bro. So I went to that job, bro, and it was raining, bro. And I was like twisting the steel, trying to like put it all together, putting the foundation down. And then I was kind of like, I don't want to do this. So then I went and applied for another job at HRV. So, you know, the sort of the system that people have in their homes to keep the condensation out. Yeah. So I did that as a job, as an installer and repairs. So I went into people's roofs, bro. So I was crawling in people's roofs in 2015, bro. Like crawling like that, bro. Doing the box, bro. Unscrewing the box, putting it all in, doing the whole system. I did that for a bit, bro. But then I got fired, like, because I wasn't doing upselling. I wasn't selling the products. I was just going and doing the job and then gassed. Yeah. Like, because at the time I didn't know how to like. At the time I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to talk to people. That was probably my massive like probably letdown was that I didn't know how to speak to people because you know what we're like here. We speak with slang. It's like like yo, like sweet, but over time you start to learn like there's a proper way to speak when it comes to certain people. It's almost like gotta fake it till you make it. Like you can put on, bro. Like you can't go with the counselling slang into a room full of like white people and be like, "Sup, G? Yo, G, docs, sup, like, G?" So then, so I was working there as a job at HRV, but then I got fired, and bro, I just moved my family down to Wellington, and I was kind of like, "Flip, bro, like what do I do now?" Yeah. So then, bro, I ended up getting cash jobs with my mate, Ngalu. So Fale, he's one of the boys down in Welly, bro. He's the man. Respect to that guy. He gave me a job to put up tents. So I was putting up marquees for events and stuff. Yeah, bro. So I did that for a bit. But it was just cash, just cash jobs. Kind of just to help me find my feet till I kind of figured out what I really wanted to do. And that was all in 2015. Like, I was doing like, bro, I was doing stages. Like, I was putting together stages. It's a hard job, bro. Like prepping like events and marquees and tents for people. And then so that didn't work out. Oh, so then I went and applied for a job at Wins, bro. So I was thinking, I've cracked it, bro. I've got an interview as a case manager. And then so I went there to my interview and I remember the guy, like this guy I walked in like with a shirt nice shirt, pants, like looking flash, bro. And I was gonna talk my rubbish, hey, like talk myself into the job. Well, then, like, yeah, bro. I just had an interview with them, and they asked, bro. I'll never forget the question. Oh, they're like, oh, what were your school qualifications? I was like, oh, yeah, I don't have any A, but I just didn't apply myself. Like that was my excuse.
Yeah.
But oh no, and they were just, oh no, that's fine. Like there's a lot of people have had this job with no experience, no qualifications. So I was like, oh yeah. So then they just talked about sort of like asked me about my journey, and then I just told them like everything and kind of like what I was up to, and then they kind of was like, oh sweet, we'll get back to you. And then 2 days had passed, and then there was like a open trial for the Manu Samoa Sevens in Auckland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's
And
go.
And then yeah, bro. So then kind of it was on Facebook, and my father-in-law had messaged my wife saying, oh, has Danny seen the Facebook post?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, what is it? And then he was like, oh, there's a trial for the Manu Samoa Sevens. And I was like, and at the time it was kind of like, I was like, nah, I'm all good. Like, I don't want to go. And then my wife said, like, asked me, and goes, well, if you want to give rugby one more crack, then this is pretty much your chance, like, to go to an open trial. And this was in 2015. And then I was kind of like, oh, and I just got married. I just lost a couple of jobs.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, flip, bro, I don't know what I'm going to do. So then I kind of, like, had to think about it for a couple of days. And then, bro, Monday morning, I get a phone call from Wins saying that I got the job.
Damn.
But on that same morning, I decided that I was going to go back and trial. So I had already told the people that were renting their house, told them that I was leaving. And then, yeah, bro, so it was like Monday morning, got the call that I got the job at Wins as a case manager. So I was thinking, flip, man, like I was going to give up the free trial to stay with this job because I was like, bro, this is my thing was like, I'm going to be able to work in an office and wear nice clothes because for the past 6 years, I've been just freaking like, no disrespect to all the laborers and all that, but I just knew it wasn't for me and I wasn't made for it. Like, so then I kind of, it was like the tough decision whether do I call them back and tell them I can't take it because a rugby opportunity came up, or do I just like take the job and just skip the rugby opportunity? But then obviously speaking with my family and my parents and all that, it was kind of just like, I gotta try it. I gotta like take my chance. And then so, yeah, man, I called up Win, told him, oh man, I can't take the job. But at the time I told him I made the Manu Samoa team. But I was on trial, bro. So I was like, look, man, these guys probably be like looking up for the team, and if I don't make it, guy was built up.
But that's you, bro. You're already speaking it into existence, bro. You already knew that.
Bro. So it was funny, bro. It was just kind of like, man, I told them I had already made it, but bro, little did they know I was going to trial, an open trial. And the coaches and that didn't even know I was turning up. So yeah, it was kind of when I booked my flight, bro, like kind of was like by a chance. So I booked my flight to come back up to Auckland, and then I went to the trial. So like I was embarrassed, bro. I was like, I wasn't really. I think I was fit, but not as fit as I should have been. But then I went to the trial. It was at Marist, held at Marist, and the coach at the time was Damien McGrath and Brian Lima. And I remember going to the trial and like walking into the change rooms and like, bro, like everyone was there. Like even, bro, probably your uncles and all that. Like that's how many people turned up to an open trial. See, that's the danger of an open trial. It's like anyone can turn up. Anyone can turn up, bro. So I was like sitting in a room full of like guys, they're not gonna make it. Bro, you look around the room like, bro, you're having a laugh. Like, come here, trial. But then at the time, that's probably what, like, I was probably looking, I probably look like someone who's going to come and trial. So then I trialed, and it was just like, I did all right. Like, I did a couple of good runs, and I did a couple of good tackles, and then that was it, did a few kicks. But I didn't think anything of it, because they didn't say much. And after the trial, they came up to me like, oh, how would you feel to come and trial for Samoa? But then in my head, I was like, trial. I just finished the trial. What do you want me to trial for? So am I trialing for another trial? So, and then they were like, yeah, you got to come to Samoa, but on your own, like sort of expenses. So you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So then,
Samoa,
Samoa, bro.
Humble beginnings, eh?
Humble beginnings, bro.
Hello,
We're
Charlie.
legends, mate.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, well, obviously when I got asked to go back and trial, that's when I went back down to Welly, and then the wife made a decision to pack all our things. We only just moved down to Welly like for a couple of months, and then packed everything back up, and then we had to move back to Auckland, and then for like we pretty, because I said, oh no, it's all good, like I don't want to go to trial because it's too much money.
Yeah.
But then with the support of our families, they all supported me, and they pretty much like the reason why I got to go over and like trial. So I went over, trialed in the trial, and like before I went over, I made that like 2015 was the year that I made a decision to make it work, like make everything that like, and like not leave any stone unturned. Like I had to actually like commit to it. Like, if we've talked about my journey in the last couple of minutes, and it's been a journey of like quitting. Like, I quit a lot of things like early, or, I don't really fulfill that sort of job the way it should be. And, so when it came to that point where I was like, okay, if my family are gonna support me and pay for my trip to Samoa and support me financially, like while I'm over there, then, I owe it to them. But then at the end of the day, I owe it to myself, because in the last 6 years, I've been doing nothing but quitting on myself. And so then I kind of, bro. So when I flew over, bro, I made that decision in 2015 that I wasn't going to give up, that I was going to be the hardest worker in the room. And to this day, like, that's my mindset, being because my rugby journey is probably not as normal as what a lot of other people may assume. Like I've always been asked the questions like, oh man, but you've always had it from school, and you guys have always been in reps, but I wasn't. I wasn't picked in any Auckland teams growing up and things like that. So like for me to make that decision in 2015, and then to finally, when I obviously went through all the trial process and that, and then to hear my name being named in the team to go on the circuit, it was like, wow. Like, and then that's when it drove me even more to be like, I got to stay there. But the easy part in a way is getting in, but just staying in it, staying in this is like the hardest part. Like, a lot of people are like, they say, oh, athletes get it easy, they get paid good money, they get to do what they love. But it's not a neat, like I don't know any other job that you have to get up and perform at your best every day at your physical peak, so that you don't get dropped, or so you don't lose your job. This is a job where you lose your job if you're not fit.
Man.
Like, bro, that's my opinion, because it's like, and that's pretty much why I've, for these last, since 2015 till now, my mindset's been like, I've just got to be the hardest worker. And I always like have the mindset that no one has been through what I've been through. No one has no one has done these jobs that I've done, and no one, bro, like, I've probably made a lot of friends over the years in those workforces.
Bro, sounds
that
like
I
it,
still,
mate.
so, yeah, bro. That like, like, but I've picked and learned everything from them, because it's like, they're people who have also had dreams and goals, but didn't quite take it on. So now they work a certain job that they, they're good at, but they don't really enjoy it. So then when I'm in moments when I'm training or playing, like I always remind myself, like, flip, bro, I always look back at where I've come from and what it took to get there. And do I want to go back there? And I'm like, always like, nah, I don't want to go back there, but I want to remember it always, because it's like, bro, if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for me getting fired, or it wasn't for me like losing these jobs and doing these jobs, like being a scaffolder, being a shrink rep, being a builder, being a car wash,
Even getting kicked out, eh?
Man,
bro, even getting kicked out
fired,
of school, getting fired, I wouldn't be able to have the same. I wouldn't have, I guess, the mindset that I have today in terms of work and you know, right now, I just enjoy it, like, because you know I'm getting a lot older, and you know, just to be able to do what I love every day, it's you know, I'm just grateful, and you know, and that's why you know, I love sharing my journey, because I know when I was growing up, you know, like we talked about earlier, it's like we didn't have the examples that, like, you know, not many boys have the example in nowadays to follow, and I feel like, you know, if there's a small part that I can play in, like the young Counselling boys or whoever, young poly boys, to follow their dreams, you know, hopefully a lot easier road than mine, because, you know, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, because, you know, it is stressful, and it is always when I talk about my journey, it's a consequence of my decisions I've made in the past and in my earlier years, which I've had to live with, but also but then, you know, excel on it on this end of the stick. So kind of just.
Good on you, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, what a
just
journey,
touching on, what a journey, bro. What a champion. And only Danny Tusitala can do that.
6 jobs, go to a CV, bro, and then put this one up.
Dancing, bro.
But yeah, man, just touching on your rugby career, bro. I know that you've played in a few teams, and obviously you've mentioned Manu Samoa. I remember that year when I watched you guys play in that tournament, bro, and you and the bro Phoenix
Phoenix
carved up that tournament, bro. But also touching on that, bro, like I know, did you play in France?
France.
You played in France, eh?
Played a season in France. Bro, that was tough, bro.
Yeah.
So that was another sort of, I guess, step in my journey. Is, you know, I had just played Samoa internationals, and I was doing well, like, and then you know, I finally got my first gig as a professional rugby player, like, because you know, obviously Samoa, you're not getting paid full time. So then when I got that gig at France Pro D2, I thought, yeah, man, I've cracked it, like legit cracked it. Like, I'm actually gonna have money in my account to look at, and then first thing I'm gonna do is buy me some shoes. And then, bro, so I went over with my family, had the massive farewell, had the whole like oh man, all the best on your journey, and went there, bro. It didn't turn out the way I expected it to. Like, I got there, and they changed the coaches, but this was like a massive learning for me as well, because you know, it was sort of my first time where I was like not getting picked, and I just coming off hot in the last 2 years of 7s and 15s with Samoa, and then man, I played probably like 6 games out of the 20 that we had, and then bro, they released me, bro. They kind of just told me, oh, maybe. Then I signed a 3-year contract. And then at the time, I was like, wow, what do I do? Like, my thing was like, I'm too embarrassed to go back home. Because, you know, like, I just, like, this is just a year ago, we just had the massive farewells and told everyone, yo, cracked it. Then,
you can't just go back up to your mum and say, hey, mum, I want to play for a different rugby team. Like how you did in high school.
Yeah, bro. I can't just go home and be like, oh, no, it was tough, bro. So I ended up getting, like, paid out. I got released from the club, and no other club in the comp wanted me, so I came back home in 2018, and then lucky enough I came straight home, and then I went straight back on the 7s, because I was just still fresh off the 7s. So then I went back on the 7th circuit, and then did that for a bit, then kind of lost my sort of drive and passion there for a bit. In 2019, so coming in the end of the 2019, and then you know,
the golden year, and in the golden year, the pony.
Bro. Then bro, it was kind of like so 2019 was kind of like I'll say the beginning was rough, because then like in the 7th circuit, bro. So, you know, my hair is blonde, like it's been blonde since 2017, like the blue mohawk mullet, and then bro, we didn't do too well in 2019 at the Sydney tournament for Samoa. We lost every single game. And then obviously when you're losing, everyone starts finding excuses on why we're losing and that. And then, bro, like funny enough that the Prime Minister thought my hairdo was like the reason we were losing, bro. So he told me to cut the hood. So he told me to cut my hair in front of the team, told me to cut my hair, and I was kind of like, nah, I'm not cutting my hair. When I remember we all went to the barber shop, and I was just like, "No, I'm not cutting my hair." So I didn't cut my hair, bro. And then I sort of paid the consequences. Like I ended up, well, I still win. In the tournament, I didn't get picked to play, so I was 13th man. And then I kind of figured it had something to do with my hair. And then, yeah, bro. So after that, Vegas and Vancouver, like I didn't go back. Like I came home. We had 4 days at home before we had to go back to Samoa.
Yeah.
And then in the 4 days, no one knew. I was battling in my head, like, do I go back? Do I just stay home? And then, bro, like the Sunday came around. Everyone had to go to the airport to fly up back to Samoa for camp. Bro, and I didn't turn up, bro. Like I woke up the next morning, Sunday morning. My wife was like, "Oh, were you going to take you?" Because obviously my bags were packed. And then I just said to her, "No, I'm not going." And then she was like pissed off. She was like, "No, you can't just give up like that." And I was like, "I'm not going." Like I legit was like real serious. Like I'm not going. Like I'm staying. I'm not going back. And then she was like, "Oh, if this is what you want, then you got to live with it." Then I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back." So I didn't go back. Everyone was trying to get a hold of me when they were all at the airport. The coach, Gordon Titchens at the time. Everyone was trying to get a hold of me. Everyone was calling my phone. I wasn't answering. I was just kind of like, nah. Like I was dead set. Like I'm not going back to that because I like kind of lost the passion and like it wasn't having fun. So I was just like, nah. But then at the time, now I think about it, I should have done it properly. I should have messaged the coaches. Should have called them up. Gave them an explanation and why I didn't come back. Like my phone was blowing up, but I didn't answer any calls.
Yeah.
So like my flight was booked to go back, but I didn't jump on. So then I went through so then next week I just went back down to Ponsonby. Like no one knew. Like I just turned up, went back down to Ponsonby, and I told the Premier's coaches that I'll be around now, that I'm available to play. But then they said, "Oh, we're kind of okay for now." Like they didn't need a halfback. So then I said, "Oh, sweet, I'll just go play reserves." But reserves at the time didn't need me. So then I went and played under 85s.
Yeah, I was reading that, bro. Wow, what a story.
So I was playing, bro. So I went and jammed for the under 85s in 2019. I played like 2 games. I was playing centre. It was me. Like played North Coast.
Having another field day, bro.
Oh, bro, that was good, bro. It was good to like get a run out wide and stuff like that. It was but yeah. So I was playing under 85s for a couple of weeks. Then I went back to Ponies, and then at the time the halfbacks they had at Prems were doing really well. So then I ended up playing reserves for like the whole first round. And for those who know me, I'm Ponsonby hard, and I've never played jammed with the reserves. So that was humbling, and especially when I went to the 85s, I didn't realize like how big of a deal it was for a lot of those guys. Like, 2 weeks prior to that game I played with them, I was just playing in the international circuit. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like in the changing room with all these under 85 guys. Good guys, man. Shout out to the Hustlers, bro.
Yes.
No.
Yes, sir.
Really
Man.
So then, then I ended up playing Prem development. So I was playing in the reserves, played the whole first round. And then like, it wasn't until like, that was like the ultimate like ground zero for me. Because I was like, flip, I have to start again. Like, kind of like, it was, and then I ended up, I got called into the Prems for one game. And they were like, "This is your game to prove to us that you can, I guess, play in the Prems."
Yeah.
So, bro, I probably played my worst game I did for Ponsonby in that game. Because I was trying to do too much, I was kind of, bro, like everything that I thought I could do just wasn't working out. Like, it was hard, man. Like, it was, and just to know on the sideline that the coaches are thinking, okay, we're going to cut this guy. But like, I've played like 70 odd games for the club. But I was like struggling, like, fuck, bro, am I even gonna make this team? So then the next week I got dropped back down to the Prems, bro. Or Prem development. So then that was when I kind of decided, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna who cares about Prems? I'm just gonna enjoy the season with the Prem development. Just jam. And then like was kind of the first time in years, and all my years at Ponies, where I felt like I was never a part of the Prem.
Yeah.
And I was just like, flip, man, like, and it really, like, it was humbling and like an experience where, like, man, this is how these boys feel. They don't play with us.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you feel, it's hard, bro. It's hard going. And then, lucky enough, like, there was a few injuries, like to Morrison, bro, Morrison.
Yeah, Morrison. Yeah, Morrison.
Murray, so he got injured, bro. He got injured, and lucky enough, like, he got injured. Not lucky, but for me, he got injured, which meant that they needed an extra back and needed an extra wing.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, you know what? I don't care. If they play me anywhere, I'll play.
Yeah.
And then I remember the coaches telling me, bro, you got an opportunity to play Prems again, but it's going to be on the wing. And I said, yeah, sweet, all good.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of sick of playing Prem development.
Yeah.
So then I played the Prem. I ended up jamming with the Prem. Then when I jumped into the second round, bro, I ended up starting the whole way through to the final, and then we won. I was playing as a wing. And then the next week after the finals, like, we fast forward the season, and I was playing on the wing. Well, I ended up getting a call from Auckland. So I got a call from Auckland, and they needed a halfback. But I had been playing wing the whole year, and I've been playing like under 85s and Prem. So even in the Prem development, I was playing first five, like, so I hadn't had any games at halfback. But just lucky enough that the coaches knew my history.
Yeah.
And then, I went into the Auckland system, played my way in as a halfback, and then, went on to play 2 seasons with them, and then ended up in the US last year with DC and the MLR.
Old glory,
bro.
Yo,
the hissing league, man. The league by far is going to be
growing, eh? That league is growing, man.
Bro, it's going to be massive. It's America, bro. So
yo.
They're going to make it big, bro. There's a lot of Kiwi boys hitting over there next season. So, bro, it's only growing, man. And just, they're going to be adding more teams. So,
yo, man, that's amazing, bro. And you pretty much, touched on all your career throughout rugby. But I think the next thing, especially for you as an athlete, the thing is with mental health, how important it is for you, because we see it now. Athletes are starting to speak up, which is awesome, because sharing some light on how the athletes really feel. Because, man, like what you said, you even get criticized for your hair, like, bro. And like recently, even the likes of Rico Ioane being criticized for try celebration, for celebrating too much when they get tries. And that's something that's like the personality of a player, of an athlete. And I just feel like it's kind of been blocked by some of the, all the social media people, the couch coaches. For you, how important is mental health as an athlete, or, just as a husband and as a father as well?
It's, bro. I think, with the likes of like Reeks and that, a lot of kids enjoy that, eh? Like, obviously a lot of people are still quite old school. You look at the Americans, like in the MLR, they embrace that stuff. They embrace, like, look at it. Like, if you think about it, all the Kiwis support all these American sports like NBA and NFL. But what do they support? They support the celebrations. They support everything like about it. Like, the whole like thing about it is just mean. Like, and because it's in rugby, I feel as though it's like still like rugby right now is still quite fancy, professional. But MLR is quite ruthless. Like, they embrace all of that. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video, that video of me, like,
what, the way you're gonna have a scrap?
Yeah, bro. Like, but they're like, wow, that's a funny video. But that's like what they share. Like, that's them. Like, because I saw a lot of comments are like, bro, this is not what rugby's about. But it's like, this is entertainment, and entertainment brings in money. And that's what Americans put money into, entertainment. They're not going to put money into watching people like be playing as rugby players. Bro. But in terms of mental health, I think it's bigger. Like, I think everyone has their way of dealing with it. But just, I know sometimes I don't speak about it, but I'll do something like more like action wise. Like, if I feel like I'm going down sort of some road, I'm just like, what's the next best thing for me to do? to get back up, sort of thing.
Man.
So like the likes of like when I was getting cut from the Preds, then I kind of decided because obviously I was dipping mentally. I was like, "Fuck, this is draining. Like, I'm not even going to make the club premier side." But then I decided my sort of switch was like, "Sweet, I just got to enjoy it. Go back to enjoying it and go back to like trying to have fun again." And once I did that, kind of everything fell back into place. I wasn't trying to force my way into sort of things. And then I think the big thing is having people around you that sort of share the same energy.
Thanks.
I think if you guys see, I like some of the boys that I like chill with, like the likes of Johnny, Trivasta, Caleb, and that. Like a lot of people will be looking like, these guys, like this guy's a clout chaser, this guy likes hanging out with all these famous people. But it's like I've learned, bro, you gotta actually hang with these people if you want to grow, like, and because they share the same energy. Like, there's no point in hanging out with someone that's not gonna share the same energy or help you grow. Because the thing is, like, you are who you surround yourself with.
Hard facts.
Like, it's like I 100% believe in that. Like, if I'm gonna hang out with certain people, every day, that those are the sort of people I'm gonna start becoming, because it's a thing that Whereas if you hang out with people who are driven, who are like, purpose, task driven, who want to grow and who want to keep building, or you're only going to help yourself and them as well. So,
well, that's mean, bro. That's mean advice, bro. Thanks for that.
Man.
No, it's mean, bro.
Bro, it's tough, bro, because I've lost friends, bro. Like, I've lost. I wouldn't say I've lost friends, but no, I obviously keep my closest ones close. Like they're basically my family. Even family, even sometimes your closest friends, sometimes you like, I've had moments where I'll hang with someone and it's kind of like they're still doing the same thing, but you're still trying to grow. But it's like,
that's right, bro. Because it's part of the journey, like, and you're definitely right. You hit that on the nail, bro. Like, because there's times where there are friends that are there for a season, but you can't stay there with them, because unless you want to go backwards, you can stay there. Unless you want to move forward, you had to make a choice. But that hard choice, I was like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. I can't just keep partying, man. I'm a dad now, or I'm a husband now. I've got visions and dreams that I want to achieve. So, man, I fully understand what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's awesome, bro.
Thanks
for the light, mate. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, Danny Tusitala. How many kids, bro? Go up.
The kids
4,
now.
bro.
4, bro? Yeah.
4, bro. Hopefully they'll be more sporty than me, bro.
Surely.
No, bro, it's all good.
100%. What's next for you, brother? What's next for you?
So, I just finished up with Hawke's Bay. And then, so I ended up at Hawke's Bay this year.
Shout out to the Magpies.
Bro. Shout out to the Magpies, bro. They pretty much gave me a chance, bro. I was in MIQ this year, and then obviously we hit level 4 lockdown, and I just got a phone call from Mark Osage. He's an old Counselling. Counselling teacher, so he gave me a call, bro. So that's the Counselling connection at the Magpies.
Man,
Josh Sims. Just called me up and just asked me, "Do you feel like playing any rugby?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro, I don't mind staying fit." He goes, "Oh, you come down to the Magpies."
That's that brotherhood, man.
Oh, 100%, bro. Like, and he's another one that's been shocked about, like, can't believe how much of a change that I made since school. So it was good to hear him say that, because it was kind of like, he's sort of seen me go through the process at Counselling. So for him to acknowledge sort of the changes I've made, it's like, I must be doing something all right.
Any plans of coming back to the States?
Old
Glory?
I'm going back to I'm going back to the States. Leave next month, so back to Old Glory. We got a few good signings, so
yes, sir.
It's exciting.
It's
we had a tough year.
This
season, but it's all part of the learnings, and I think the opportunity of helping build a club, because it's building a club from scratch. Like, there's no template. Like, you know, I've never been a part of a team where they've started from ground zero. Like you've actually got to build your culture, build your sort of like everything, like what your club's about. So that's good. We're going into our third year next year and third season in the MLR, so it should be good.
Any free contracts for my dockle over here? Just fly over from Hawaii, brother?
Nah. I'm on sleep me on that side of the island.
Right.
My man.
I'm going my smaller.
Surely you guys need a hooker, eh, brother?
Just bro, we do actually. We need a hooker, bro.
Nah. I'm good with my little island here. Oh man, that's crazy.
Good on you, brother. I mean, yeah, bro, we don't want to hold you up, mate, and we want to thank you, Danny, for an awesome
man
sharing, bro, of your journey. And like we said at the beginning, we just want to empower and inspire people that are listening, bro. And man, you're a testament. You're a living testament to, you know, that's just not it. You know, there's more to it. You know, boys that are probably in your position at the moment, you know, like going from jobs to jobs and not knowing what to do, like, brother, keep going, keep staying in it. You know,
yeah, bro.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel, eh?
Bro, like 100%. I was 28 when I finally made a Mitre 10 Cup debut. So you know, you don't have to. Now I'm 30 and I'm only just starting to finally, you know, get the chances that I've always wanted. So you know, it's possible. Like regardless if you're old or young, you know, you just stick in it.
Nice, bro.
Whatever age, bro. You know,
it's a science,
yeah, bro.
All right. Anyway, before we finish up, we got some quick fire questions for you, bro. Five quick fire questions for you. We'll start off easy and then got some tough ones for you. All right. First one, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Gosh.
Hey, bro, this guy thinks nah.
Hey, you come to Hawaii, bro, and you say that all the locals will be like, nah, go back.
Nah, bro.
That's because it's because of a small island, man. They need the pineapple for other things, not their pizza.
Hey, leave my island alone.
You're right, bro. You're right, bro.
There's not enough pineapple to go on the pizzas and on the other stuff.
Next one, Auckland or Hawke's Bay?
There's a rugby team, brother. There's a rugby team, bro. Pick wisely, mate.
What's it like? What does it mean, though? What there's the grey area, like.
If do
you mean as
you wake up in the morning and you get two contracts in front of you, where you going?
Where you going, brother? Where you going? Pick wisely, brother.
Yeah.
Hawksland. There's a Hawksland.
Hawksland, eh, Ducks?
Oh, I'm gonna have to choose retirement, bro.
Oh yeah, nah, yeah. We'll take
retirement. What is that? Auckland.
What's that?
09.
Oh, bro.
Ooh, it's a tough one, eh?
Tough one. We'll go Hawksland, eh?
We'll go Hawksland. There's a good one for you. Who's got the better skills in footy? Johnny Tuvasashek or Caleb Clark?
Ooh, you want someone to text you in the morning, brother? So make sure.
Sharks.
Oh, Johnny would Clark. Win on a race.
Caleb will win a race. Johnny's quite powerful, but he's quite skillful.
Yeah. Take that, bro.
That's a good one. Custom Boys or Wesley College?
I have to go with Custom Boys, bro.
Let's go.
Let's
go. And the last one. If you had to choose 5 people, living or dead, to have dinner with tonight, who would it be?
Denzel Washington.
Yoza.
Denzel Washington. Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yo.
2 more, brother.
2 more.
Come on, bro. You can't leave Simmons out, mate.
Nah.
You can't leave Anthony out.
Come on, man.
Kobe.
Oh.
What a panel, bro. What a table.
Kobe.
Your last one, brother.
So who do I have already?
You got Denzel. You got Kobe.
Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
DJ.
And I'm gonna have to. Gonna have to go with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, like secret celebrity crush back in the days. Sandra Bullock.
Back in the days.
Back in the days.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to change that one. I'll say Oprah Winfrey.
Oh,
even better,
free
bro.
money, free cousin.
Also, bro, that's a pretty beast.
That's a good table.
Don't think anyone beat that one, bro. Oprah Winfrey, The Rock, Kevin Hart.
Yo,
you got Muscle Entertainment.
Yo,
Wisdom.
Yo,
what else is there?
Money, bro. They got money all over.
Money, yo. And then they got you, Wales.
They got you, brother.
Nah, bro.
Bro. Shout Danny. Danny Tusitala. Shout out to Danny. Thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate sharing your journey. And like I said, bro, I definitely know that a lot will be inspired by your journey. So for those that are listening, man, if you're feeling discouraged or unmotivated, get up and just go do it, eh?
All right. Took my guy 6 jobs, boy. 6-7 jobs. All right. 28 in the rugby arena. You got to do it, man.
Still doing TikToks too, guys.
Yo,
so remember
and 9S.
Fun.
And 9S.
9S.
Thank you, Tusi.
9S.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it, brother. But before we close up, man, we're going to shoot off with our ending track.
Sila my mom on the toe, Sila. The best ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, JJ Productions proudly brings to you More Jam.
Sometimes I think about where I was from. The palm trees, seashells, hot summer sun.
Let's go.